fun laugh off him, you know.
All right, I am popping the live stream up anyway.
Yeah, but what we come back have to come down to, Quantum. You forgot the first one important rule that Lava he has. That is, if you have Blender, uninstall Blender.
I think I
Why?
was actually the other guy's rule. My rule was also, I guess, to install Blender, but
Why?
Yeah, why should we uninstall?
because it's a terrible program. But in a serious note, if all your UVs are flipped when you went into Blender, the solution is either one, flip all your texture maps, or two, flip your UVs, and then you're okay.
I mean, isn't that the thing you normally should do?
Well, normally you should export them correctly so that they're flipped in the right direction. Therefore, you
Well,
don't
yeah,
have to
true, but
go
if
about
it's
that
all messed up,
process. But yes, that would be the solution after you messed up the export.
yeah.
Yeah.
I only use Blender to open .blend files to export them as like FBXs to Maya. So
I just tell people if it's in a .blend file, then I'm just not going to do anything with it.
well, sometimes there's some good models. Well,
I would just remodel it then in a superior package.
yeah, but we don't have all we don't have all the time we got.
You don't have all the time?
No.
Yeah,
Why don't you?
because I don't. Time's limited.
You're not providing me a satisfactory answer. I'm sorry.
I mean, how isn't what if you tried to make everything? If you're gonna remake everything, if you're trying to remake everything, what's the point of finding anything?
Exactly. What's the point of looking for things that you're just gonna have to remake anyway?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just use the things that already exist. Isn't that just like good thing
No.
to spare on time?
It's good if you modeled it yourself and the model is good and you know the topology is good, but if somebody else modeled it and you know that it's probably going to be bad, then you're probably just going to end up having to fix it anyway.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, I mean, not most, every single thing that I download from the internet, the models look dog shit.
See, there you go. Back to my original point. You should just remake it yourself.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Why are they so bad though, man? God.
because
people don't
because
wanna take
guys
the
who
time
make
on
good
spending
things
on
like me,
stuff.
guys that make good things like me, they're like, I'm not gonna release that free on the internet. I want money for it.
Yeah.
By the
true,
way, hello
true
Cordite and Lintel over on Picardo. If either of you are interested in joining the voice portion of this, I can send you a link to the Discord server that I'm attached to.
Me?
No, he's talking to the live stream because we are live streaming right now.
That's right, you're live.
Oh.
You're all live. Watch
If
your
you're
language.
interested in joining,
Yay.
go to InterArt and you can find the link. He has you cannot miss the link.
Nope, you
It
cannot.
is the only link in there for the last 2 months. Or 2 years, actually.
Where?
No, 2 months. 2 months. No, 2 months.
In InterArt? Oh yeah, I see it.
The only link for 2 months.
What's that even mean? What's InterArt?
I mean, he's been posting it.
What's
basically for 2
inner
months.
art? I don't know. You can ask Quashu that. I was like, okay, I'll just post my crap in there. Nobody's gonna look. It's fine. Make me all sad.
Oh my god, Merlin! Oh my god, that picture. Merlin, do you not have a mic? We would love to hear you.
Merle doesn't have a mic. Yeah, I think we will sandwich this in there. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll
Oh,
add a, like,
that's
a
okay.
real something.
As long as you're as talkative of a Pavlov, is, it'd be great. Pavlov never stops talking, even though he doesn't even have.
Free mics for everyone. That's what I say. Free mics for everyone.
Yay! Is it like a Walmart mic, or is it like a Blue Yeti?
Oh no, it's like a Blue Yeti.
Ooh, nice.
Like a Blue Yeti. If we could afford to give away such things.
Well, next week I'll hopefully be enjoying your voice. And if it's anything like the picture, hopefully it's cute.
Wait, what? Huh? You're enjoying my voice? What?
What? No. However, your voice does look like your profile picture.
My voice does look like my profile picture. Angry.
Yeah. Oh, if you. Yeah, that hasn't been the first time I've seen that banana.
Yay!
Well, I'm already disappointed. You know, that being said, there are a lot of guys that sound a lot like a chick.
Yeah.
Like me.
There's a lot of chicks that sound like guys.
That's sadly true. Yep.
Quantum, read this. I'ma post it.
Why do I have to?
Read it.
The brain doesn't recognize the second the.
Oh, his computer crashed.
Who? What? Somebody crashed?
Yeah.
Whoops.
I've got two more.
And I fucked up on it twice. Let's try a third time.
So you guys don't think that I should do the kind of hard surface modeling that I'm doing right now in ZBrush?
Who joined?
Apparently.
Ah, it was Merly.
But I love
Really?
seeing it. It is fascinating. Hi again.
Yeah, it looks awesome, man.
Personally, I like your other Gundam Z, but
Oh, don't get me wrong, I like the other one, and eventually I've got it fully UV'd now, but the main issue with it is I gotta split it into smaller chunks. The amount of UV space I have on it is not very good. I think I would either have to have ridiculously sized UV sets, which is not really helpful, or I gotta have more of them. So I gotta split it up into more and repack things, and that'll help. But I didn't feel like spending all the time doing that, so I was like, I'll just redo this mech and make it more awesome. And then this happened. I just, I did that thing I like to do when I design things. I was like, oh, I'll just change like one little thing, and then I just kept changing things, and now we've got a completely different mech.
that's the best thing that could happen. Sort of.
That's exactly what I think. That's the best thing that could happen. Best thing.
I like CCCP.
CCCP?
I
The
am here.
codec?
Yeah. It's better than VLC.
VLC is a player though, not actually. It does ship with some codecs, but it's primarily just a
Yeah.
player.
Yeah, but the player that comes with CCCP
Is also just a
Basically.
version of a player that loads a codec. That's the Media Classic, the
Man.
Media Classic player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, you're like shitting all over me, man.
No, he's telling you how it is.
That's right. I'm giving you a little life experience here. Is what I'm doing.
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
Life experience.
You asked what I was
No,
modeling.
no, no. The pick that what's his name?
You asked what I was doing. That's what I was doing.
Oh. Yeah. Looks good. I don't know what it is.
Quiet, Lintel. Quiet. You just quiet down there.
Man, I'm so tired.
Video codex player killjoy equals Larvantholos.
Can somebody explain the ranking system? Because I have no idea how it.
Okay, here's how it works. Here's how it works. The more you talk, the higher rank you have, which means the higher rank you have, the more involved you are with the server. So that's the one part of it. The other part of it is they do have a couple of like moderator ranks. They don't supersede the engagement ranks, which are like for chatting and just like it's based on how many words you type. But we're just there to basically go mod with power and take over the server. That's what that's about.
But
yeah.
what's the correlation to the names? I don't get it.
Evolutionary steps. That's what it is.
So,
Okay. I gotta tell you, let's go.
Yeah.
Try to use depth of field, or maybe not rainbows against bronze.
Well, just.
I like that word.
I want something different. Right?
Interesting pick for your render, though.
Where is the picture? What?
Yeah, maybe put a My Little Pony picture on the medallion.
Damn it! I can't send the picture.
Oh no, he can have rainbows, but just not against bronze. But bronze medallion.
Here.
Oh, you.
Oh, damn it. How do I even restart?
See, on something like that, I would expect, like, I don't know, a paintbrush next to it.
A what now?
Oh, I'm just talking about Visco's render with his rainbow boards against a
I'm just
bronze.
It's gold.
It looks bronzed.
Yeah, the picture was.
Does anybody else think it's bronze? I think it's bronze. I could be wrong.
I guess I'd have to look and then bring it up on the stream.
Or it could look like a pancake.
Well, it
really looks like a pancake.
So what was it supposed to look like? Because it does look like bronze. You're right.
Yeah, it's
supposed to be gold.
All right. Well, it's bronze because gold doesn't look like that. I hate to tell you. The rainbow colors look great. They're nice. You can see that obviously there's like wood grain in there, but that's bronze. It needs to have a lot more yellow in it to be considered gold.
I will fix it soon. I'm just trying to look for the picture to show you that it's gold. Where the fuck did I put the picture?
Fail.
By the way, Visco, did you even watch those videos I sent you?
What videos?
About Blender Guru?
Yeah, I saw.
Now, not everything about him correct, but he does pull up some very good points. Composition is key.
I saw some of them, and I saved the others.
Hey, I've got a question. Messini, how come you're not asleep?
He fell asleep.
Why I'm not sleeping?
Yeah, you said, and I quote when I left, I am going to sleep.
That's true, but I didn't. I got something to eat, and I got suddenly so much energy again. You know.
Don't eat caffeine bread, that's what I'm saying.
Now,
Trust me,
Visco,
it's not.
do you see how much more yellow you're compared to the modeled version?
Yeah, I know. I think it's the lightning, or maybe the picture got too dark in the render. I don't know. I need to fix that.
Here, I'm also going to link you another thing that will probably become extraordinarily useful.
That Ronaldo statue is the worst statue.
That's the point.
But you
It
know
was
what?
replaced.
You know what? That Ronaldo statue, though, can teach us an important lesson. Alright? The guy who made it, there's an interesting story online about the Ronaldo Redemption sculpture. He did another one, which also was actually not very good, but it was better. Maybe. It's sort of open to debate. But the point is, the guy who made it, he is not a master sculptor. He is an amateur, much like you guys are, right? New to sculpting or new to art or whatever, right?
Yes.
And he made it with permission from Ronaldo. He just contacted him, said, I want to do this, and got some funding and did it. You know, so that's awesome, right? Because, I mean, how many of us, you know, ever do something like that and take the chance? He got blasted by that across the world about how terrible it was. But people know who he is. People know who he is as a result of that. And somebody offered him a chance to redo it, make one that was, you know, try again, a do-over. And he did. And he made another one, and it was better. I think it was better. At least it was a better approach, but you can still tell he's not a master sculptor. He's an amateur, and but he tried, right? He tried, and you know the end result is the end result, but he still put himself out there. You know, so I look at it like that, right? This guy.
You mean he made it different? He at least he took the, you know.
At least he took the challenge to try, and you know what? Success doesn't always happen the first time over. And you could argue that it was a huge success just for the fact that people know who he is. Even though he's known for doing something really terrible, he's still stuck with it after all of that. Still making sculptures, you know, still working hard. His day job has nothing to do with art, like many people we know, right? His day job is I think if I remember from the video, he was like a janitor or something like that. You know, like he's works really hard to be able to do a little bit of sculpting in a very poor country where he lives. So that Ronaldo, and also that Ronaldo sculpture was cast in bronze, not gold. Just so you know.
Yeah, I know. But that's obvious. It's in bronze.
I just want to point out that second render that you put up there of that metal still looks very bronze-ish. It doesn't have that gold sheen.
Right, let me try to take a nice picture with it. Of it.
Oh, sorry.
And for the back, try that texture that I linked you.
Polygon.
It'll look a little bit better.
I'm letting you guys distract me so much that I've done almost nothing on my model since I started live streaming.
But it's actually a good thing because at least somebody is looking at your stream and maybe they want to join what we're doing here or just, you know, interacting on the chat. So
nobody's joining.
Anyway, it's good.
Nobody's joining. You're scaring them all away. They're all like,
no.
F those guys.
I came here for modeling, not talking.
That's right.
Where the fuck is...
That's right. Every time I go to stream and they're all like interacting, I'm like, I'm an introvert. Fuck those guys.
We're all neats here. Why would you, Mishni?
Meow.
You say that with a different name, so
Mishni.
it tricks him. Not with the same name.
Who do a trick?
If you want to trick him into saying, "Oh, somebody," you use a different username, not
Yeah, but
the same one you
I don't
have
want
on
to.
Discord.
I don't want to because we still haven't found Human Slayer.
Oh yeah, that's a better gold version. Use her reference.
Well,
His reference. His reference.
So what is it you're working on right now? That's on the
Change your
backside, right?
profile pic.
Lava?
It's very misleading.
Yes, I'm working on the backside now. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Oh my.
The thing is, the metal is not so yellow. It's like a light yellow.
Larvantholos, look what Merly said.
There's one problem with that picture. Try turning it upside down, and you'll see something else.
What am I doing in the back? Well, you just have to look closely.
So, Lava, did you have a good day?
No, it's been a bad day.
No, okay, sorry to
Yeah,
tell that.
first I woke up at a reasonably late time on my day off. Then I streamed and all these weirdos showed up and they were all laughing and happy all day long. Totally killed my mood.
wow.
Yeah, just a really rough day, you know.
Yeah, no, it's not easy to be.
Here I'm trying to be all, you know, introverted and grumpy and like, you guys keep making me smile. People are gonna think this stream's all nice and friendly and they're gonna keep coming back. And you know, then I'm gonna feel like I have to
just deal with a straight face.
And you know, then I'm gonna have to feel like I'm obligated to like stream regularly again and be all entertaining and shit.
Yeah, but people also, but we need to sponsor it. We need to get the sponsor so you get paid for it. You know.
That's true. I do need sponsors. Who's gonna pay me to do junk every day though? You know.
I'll pay 25 a month.
25 a month. All right, I'm holding you to that.
25 US a month. That's no problem.
Quantum.
That's a start.
What the?
What?
Did it really come up like that?
Yeah.
Weird.
Do what, huh?
Mine loaded. I clicked it and it loaded for me. Did anybody else have that problem?
Which one?
What problem?
Really, tried to look. Did I say lick? Huh.
You did. What are we licking?
Try to click this. Does that give you the same like screen that he gave you?
Let's see what kind of screen it gives me.
No.
This
it
is the
loaded.
screen I
It's
get.
like
Look.
one.
It's gonna come up on the stream here any moment.
Yeah, I'm getting the same one.
See, it loaded for him.
Yeah, but that's because we're using VPN. You're not.
What are you talking about? It loaded
Virtual
for me,
private network,
but apparently Visco it didn't.
Hey, it
That's
doesn't
weird.
work. It keeps me black.
Gives you
Yeah,
black.
it's a good wood block.
It's reflective of your mood.
Well,
Black.
I can search.
So, is there not any chance that we can hear Merle talking? Actually, you know, hear his wonderful, sexy voice.
He doesn't have a mic yet. He's
Okay.
gonna get it or something.
Wood.
Early, just tap it.
I've already
Just
tried to get him.
just scream into your speaker. It's fine.
I have a headset he can borrow.
Wood planks word.
Internet textures. Plain word? No, that's
No,
Oh.
guys, I'm gonna leave because it's
Okay,
way
okay.
too late.
Wait, don't, not yet.
You
Wait.
do not leave yet. You're not allowed to. Quantum
Why?
won't allow you.
This one?
Just a moment.
It's
Oh,
like
were you able to download it?
Is it this one?
Yeah.
Okay, I found.
If you want, I can try to send it through.
No, I
email
found.
for you. All right.
It's 3 a.m.
It's 3 a.m.
How the fuck?
Yeah.
Well,
That's terrible.
then you can think of me in about 7 hours because that's where I'm going to bed.
Why? Are you a psychopath?
No, it's not that. It was more meant like you're going to bed now. In 7 hours, I'm going to bed, and about an hour after that, you're actually woke up again. You know.
Yes, why are you going 7 hours later? It's 3 a.m.
Because it's not as late for him.
Actually, it is. It's
It
just as
is.
late for
Oh.
me. It's just as late
Yeah.
for me, but I work better at night than I do at day. So because there's no my phone is not seriously. When I go to bed, my phone is on silent. You know. When I wake up, I have over 20 calls on my phone almost each morning.
Hmm.
I just ignore the phone. I don't answer it on the day, only at night.
That must really
Well-
drive your boss nuts.
No, because all the calls I don't take, it gets redirected to him. So
Well, anyways,
Exactly.
I recommend you try to put your medallion on that wood and try to use some of that.
Yes, put your medallion on that wood. You do it. Nice and slow.
I'm trying to download it.
Am I allowed to leave?
No.
yeah,
and
no
make sure-
problem.
wait, and make sure you watch that video about the comp.
Make sure you wash
say
your
what?
medallion.
The what?
composition.
You say
Make sure
what?
You watch that video about composition.
Are you talking about me?
Ah,
What's
Are you
the?
talking to me?
Wash your medallion.
Visco.
It's
We're
important.
talking about Visco. Make sure you watch that video about composition. It'll really help.
I should probably watch that video on composition. It's like my weakest point.
but anyway, Ian, it was nice meeting you. We talk later.
Yeah, I'll be
This-
joining.
This link.
more-
Make sure you
more
watch it.
Yeah, talk. We see you when you have time.
Yes, it was
You take
nice.
care.
often. Yeah.
Oh wait, Ian's
meeting.
leaving too.
No, I'm the one that's leaving.
Ian is the one who's leaving, not Vasco.
Oh.
All right,
No,
whoever's
every
leaving,
time his voice pops up,
just get out.
Visco's
You can leave
thing
now.
pops.
Go.
Yeah,
Go.
Ian, you can go.
Also,
You have a nice.
Okay.
also thanks.
time.
It's nice chatting with you
Yay.
and all that.
Yay. It was fun chatting with you guys too. I'll
Yeah.
be joining more oftenly.
You're more than welcome. Looking forward to it.
Yay. I'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Bye.
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 Well, at least Krell is not on now, right now. You know, I was thinking about when he has his work and all that.
Krill. I know the name. I just cannot. put
So,
a
who joined
face
us?
to it.
Who joined us?
No one. Somebody left. Merely left.
That's
Don't tell
right.
me it was Vasco. If Vasco left, I'm leaving.
Rasco left.
Not yet.
Okay, I'm leaving.
Bye.
Come back.
It's just so cold, you know,
Heck-
where you
heck,
say like,
I-
okay, bye.
I will also leave.
No, he won't.
He will.
So, who joined?
Merle's back. Yay.
Hey, Merly!
Welcome back, Merly.
Chuggy bye, hey, Merly!
Stay forever.
It's 4 a.m. Holy shit.
You can do it, Merle. Stay up. You can do it.
I can say that it's only 6 p.m. here, so I plan to be on for a while.
Yay. I mean, yay. Oh, just fuck with it.
I can't leave every time
What you
I do.
drinking?
You guys start talking about my hard surface stuff. You're just all afraid of how good my mad skills are with the surfaces that are hard.
Yeah,
And I just
pretty
drank bark root beer. That's what I like.
Ah,
You drink root
it
beer?
looked like a can of beer.
Root
Well,
beer
it
is
was a
not
can of
healthy
beer,
for-
root beer. You know what's not healthy for you? Alcohol.
Oh yeah, that's why we drink so much of it.
I don't consume alcohol.
Hey, Lintel, the person on
Picardo.
Lento's skirt. Is Picardo? It says Lintel right there.
Is he?
Yeah, it does.
Well, anyways, however you go by, what did you mean by savage? I must have missed it. Someone must have been savage.
Better that way?
Yeah, it actually looks good.
Yeah, it looks better.
Yeah.
I need
But try to use some depth of field. Angle the camera a little good, a little better.
Wait, I need to change something in the metal.
Also, change the material a bit so it can be gold instead of bronze.
It's
Unless-
not the
Yeah, a little
material
bit more yellow.
picture, but yeah.
You know you can change the picture too.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to do that. I will just change.
But didn't you model that though?
I did.
Sure, you outlined it from a picture, but you could have. So
Yeah, it's
why don't
normal.
you just model the rest of it, and then you can color it whatever color you want.
Well, I show it in 2 days, like Friday. So
I'll look forward to it.
I don't.
Don't disappoint. No, I'm just kidding. Have fun with it.
I don't think I'll have time to do it until Friday.
Out of curiosity, why are you doing it? That particular thing.
The medal
Yeah.
Yeah.
to show it in the university.
To show at university? I like it.
It's like
Now, did you use the normal maps and the roughness maps for that board? The wood?
wow. No, just bump mapping.
Try to use all the maps as
Thing
much
is,
as you
I
can.
don't know how to use normal maps in Maya. Not yet.
You just apply them into the bump map section of your shader, just like you would a bump map. There might be a secondary node to tell it that it's actually a normal map. I don't know, because that's how Max likes to have things. But even just applying it on your bump map and your shader should work just fine.
And you could also YouTube it. I recommend it.
Like
Google Maps are a wonderful thing.
connecting the nodes to the bump mapping.
Well, you should be able to drop in a texture into there as a into a node, right, and then connect that into the bump map, right? You know how to do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just, you just add your normal in there into the bump. Depending on what software you're using, bump maps
Maya.
are normal maps, or sometimes they are a separate thing, or sometimes they're used in combination. But essentially, how your software reads it is a grayscale file that applies depth information. How we see it when we're editing it is we see it as a bunch of weird colors. It is a normal map, but if you actually separate the channels, they're just 3 grayscale channels that are applying depth information to a surface. So just don't overthink it. The bump map is just a grayscale map that is applying depth information.
So I connect everything to the normal camera.
Just the way you've been doing it, just add in the bump map, that's all.
Watch a YouTube video of it. If that makes more... hopefully you find a video that makes more sense.
Well,
If you don't understand what he was saying.
Well, he already has a shader set up, right, so I'm just telling him to just add to it, that's all.
Oh, he's a funny guy. What you doing in his stream?
It was so awful, wasn't it, Lintel? You know, it's hard to be miserable these days. It's just hard. No.
Why? Because everything's going so good?
No.
I cannot connect two things in the same camera, though.
Well, if you already have a bump map, then what he said about normal mapping is irrelevant.
I can connect everything to the same bump
It's
map.
not irrelevant. You can combine bump map and normal maps together.
Yeah, but essentially you're combining the same information. Because a bump map and a normal map are essentially the same thing. They're just differently set up textured information. A normal map is 3 channels, which essentially is a shader in itself, but how the program itself interprets that information is it just looks at it as a grayscale map to apply depth to. The same as a bump map. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But I have
True.
to between bump map and normal map.
Normally, you want bump map for like large detail, and then a normal map is used for little details such as like the grain in wood.
Incorrect. Actually, only
Yeah,
one
but it's not-
channel of the normal map is ever used for that fine detail. The other channel
What?
is actually your large information and directional changes. So when you combine that together, that is a more complex bump map, but it's still just a regular bump map. You can use a regular bump map to also apply that fine detail.
Yes, but using a bump map to do it, since bump maps normally changes displacement, unless we're not talking about displacement type of map.
No,
Just completely fucking
don't
lost.
don't confuse don't confuse the displacement aspect of what some software has started calling bump maps as a bump map. A bump map is just a grayscale texture, which could also be a normal map, that is applying that depth information. That's it. All a normal does is on the 3 different channels is apply that information directionally to help light show up that information differently, which you can still have with the normal bump map. It's why you have that overlapping information in many programs. And basically, when you export your information out of, say, Substance Painter, it will generally, unless you tell it otherwise, combine your bump information and your normal information together.
Never heard of a map being used like that, except for the displacement map. Most of those maps are just like you're saying. The bump map is just like the normal map.
Exactly.
But every time I've heard about the bump map, it's the displacement map, which is normally should be normally used.
Which is
for just
also
big details.
Which is also a grayscale map with grayscale information on it, and can be the exact same thing used in 2 different nodes as part of a shader setup. You could even, if you really wanted to, just plug one channel out of that normal map, which is one of 3 grayscale maps in that combined setup, into your bump or displacement to get a specific result. It's the same way that we hack normal maps to apply detail to. We just apply that to one channel, which is usually the green channel, if I remember correctly. Or is it the blue channel? I know, it's been a while. When you're thinking about shaders and textures together, you're thinking about, really, if you think about it like layers in Photoshop. This is where I used, when I started and I was new, I was really confused. All a shader is like your layer setup in like Photoshop, or maybe now people understand more in like Substance Painter. All those layers together create information from textures for your computer to display in a certain way. All a shader does is the same way, in an instance, takes all of those layers together and displays that information in that way. All the textures are doing is feeding the information through. So when you're painting that information in Substance and you start with a material, right, that's it. All that material layer is telling it is light's hitting the surface a certain way, creating this effect. Then you're creating a diffuse, and a diffuse is just saying this is the color of that hitting to look like this color in a percentage with this material hitting that surface a certain way. And then you go to the next layer and you're like, okay, I want to make some bump information or normal information, which again is essentially the same information, just applied differently, depending on how you use it. And all that's saying is when the light is hitting the surface with that color, it's now getting refracted off of this volume a certain way. And it will be able to, and it's essentially what it's doing is creating almost a displacement of that surface to build that end result. And of course you'll get better results with actual geometry involved, but you'll get in small results, especially in fine detail, you'll get better results with the texture. It just builds together. It's all layers, just magical layers.
So it's like this right now. I don't really know. What happened? What? Oh,
Well,
Why did you post this? Oh, you did give it a little bit.
yeah. It took some time to upload it. I don't know why.
A little bit.
it's heading in the right direction. Like triple the amount of yellow you got going on there, or saturate it more. You need to find a balance there in what's being displayed. It could also be the metal shader that you're trying to build is not very good.
It's apparently just an image.
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to make it more white-ish.
Well, that is coming through on the second one that you posted there. It is starting to, adding the white is starting to, it's not getting you the results you want, it is making the overall picture lighter and less sharp. And so what you're picking up is kind of a bad end result. Yeah, if you want to really get where you want to go, I would take that image which you've traced and put on a geometry. I'd go back to that image and throw that into Photoshop and grayscale it first. Try to adjust the values up and down as much as you can and make it as clear as possible. And then either fill your color from Photoshop and export it, or try filling it from your shader in Maya to see what your end result should be a little bit better, I think.
So my bump mapping, the grayscale, is, I don't know why my computer is so slow.
It's because you're running Maya.
Yeah.
You should get Blender installed. I mean, what? Now I'm just trolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is, I think the problem is probably with Arnold rendering at the same time.
Yeah, that would do it. So
but
just
that's the one I have.
so that's your grayscale. So you could push those values on that grayscale image quite a bit, eh? Like it's fairly uniform.
Then,
Except for that bright shine from the sun.
I keep
Appears
burping.
to be.
Yeah.
yeah, it's not from the sun, it's from my lamp.
Ah. Well, anyways, Lavantholos, are we distracting you way too much?
Yeah, I think we are, because he's not doing anything. He's just sitting and talking.
Oh, is that how it is, Lintel? Everybody, get Blender installed. You'll become a pro in like 2 minutes. Yeah, that's what Lintel says.
Mm.
Hello,
With
Wing.
something
What
like
kind of face did he
Twitch.
put?
What kind of
I
face did
wonder.
he? Well, if you were on my Picardo stream, you would know which kind of face she put.
True.
True.
Is it better that way?
It's probably better you don't know. It's probably better you don't know.
I'll find out in a second.
No, he won't, because now he's just switched over to to be a Twitch streamer instead, you know, so we can't see it now.
I
Nah.
don't understand what type of face.
Try to
Some type of cartoon face.
I'm trying to figure
That's
out
all
if
as
I
far
need
as
to
I
push this much further, or if I should start thinking about the end game.
End game. It looks great as it is.
Push it further.
Push it further.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna
You
put a
do-
bunch of
you do
What could
tentacles.
you push though?
I'm gonna put a bunch of
Except for
tentacles
the
on it.
dress.
Nope, not a. Yeah, on the head, from the head and out. You know, some kind of censoring.
You know, that might not be that bad. You know the laser tentacle thing
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
normally see on.
I was gonna put tentacles all over it now. Then, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Tentacles, tentacles everywhere.
Well, you did say you wanted to make it more like a tentacle.
What?
That's what we're doing. More tentacle porn. It's that probably won't get me kicked off of Twitch.
Nah.
Should be fine, right?
Yeah.
No, I think I'm
Hopefully.
gonna stick with. I like where it's at. I just feel like we're not quite there yet. But I don't know where else I would take this. I got a big ass sword. Maybe I should. Maybe I should redo the sword and then.
No.
Keep the sword. I
Yeah,
like the
maybe.
sword.
Really?
The sword is too small.
I can scale that up. Let's scale that up.
No. I was just joking. The
No,
sword is fine.
No, I take the fair criticism. I'm gonna scale the sword up. It's fine.
No, you're not. You're not
There
gonna
we
scale
go.
the sword up.
There we
No.
go.
Okay, I gotta go.
No, I don't want to see it if you're scaling it up. Then I'm leaving
Okay,
the
catch
stream.
you later.
Yeah,
Yeah, see you later, Quantum. Night.
Good night,
Wait,
Quantum.
no, not me. Not me. Not me.
I'm the one who's leaving.
Nah, okay. Okay, sorry.
All right, get
Sorry.
out.
It's
I
tomorrow.
mean, thanks for hanging out. It was
Yeah.
fun having you in the
Have a
chat.
nice night.
Yeah,
All
you
right, so
too.
now that I've scaled
Talk
the
later,
sword
take
up
care, Quantum.
into a usable sword scale, what should I do now?
Now I'm actually see a sword and a gun in it combined.
Now you see that, eh? Yeah, there's the trigger, and then we've got kind of the lance-like handle because it's kind of an awkward design. So
I still don't see the gun.
you don't see the gun. You don't see the big trigger there,
No.
and yeah,
Yeah, I see the trigger now, but I don't see the hole that.
fires out of the bottom of the front there.
Back at the guy at who's.
Yeah, precisely. It's only for when people are
Maybe
trying to
you
steal
should upgrade the sword after all.
The whole idea of this is that we'd be swinging at you, and then we'd hook onto the person or something, and then we'd pull the
Yeah.
trigger and like fire the blast right into the person, at a weird angle or something. I don't know.
But where's the hole?
Hey, if you can't find the hole, that's why you're a virgin.
Oh my.
Life experience, don't worry, you'll get there. And oh, I thought I was gonna crash there. All right, so I'll put the sword back down to a useful scale. All right, I think I've hit the level where I've redone enough of this that it's done now.
All right.
So
Not
it
a
has
hard
no
part.
feet.
It's plenty of feet. Look at that. I'll show
okay,
you.
Yeah,
I got shoes
Yeah.
right down here.
but it's just so easy to kill her. Shoot the leg off and she can't walk. It's not any.
That's why I added these propulsion thighs.
It's not gonna help.
I guess you could say her thighs are hot.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
still think you should make the dress possible detachable.
No. No, I thought about it. No. Here, let's just hide the dress for now. You see those deflectors in the front? I gotta hide those.
Yeah, as soon as the freaking dress detaches, the thing on her arms.
The thing on her arms, what?
Have you ever seen Gundam 00?
No. No, I hate watching those shows. What are you talking about?
Well, when the big fat Gundam goes into a
You're cutting out, dude.
it dumps out all this heavy armor, and what comes out is a skinny ass robot that has extraordinarily amount of abilities. Ironically, it also shuts down every other robot around.
So it like drops basically an EMP pulse.
Yeah, when it drops its armor, it drops like it. Yeah, you need. Oh, you need. Yeah, Paul. And
Slow down. Slow down. It's okay. We got all night.
And he gains like 50 times the normal speed he normally has.
Well,
Because one, he drops the fat ass armor.
yeah. Well, that's entirely plausible here. It's not the theory we're going with. Although there is one thing I want to do
But
right
you might
now.
want to change the crotch area.
Oh no, it's fine. That's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
Hmm. Hmm. New there. Okay.
That's a little bit of shape. Still kind of terrible. We'll put the dress back on now, though. She feels naked. I don't want to get banned off of Twitch for showing robot porn. Alright, so now the next piece I gotta redo is I got a pilot model that I did, which I'm gonna pull up next for the original mech that I never really showed off that well. So I'm gonna edit that model into something awesome. But before I do that, I gotta render this awesome mech. Let's use a really shiny material. Gold. No, you know what? I'm going to use a Mac app. There we go. Sketch shaded. Who's giggling there? Out of control.
God, I can't show any of these pictures on the other Discord channel. These are all just horrible. Except these random night environment pics. That's quite weird.
What? Huh?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
You're babbling out loud while you're looking at your porn again.
Oh my god, this is bad. I can't even read it out loud to give you a ban on Twitch.
That's why I said you're rambling while looking up your porn again.
No, I just went to a Dota Discord server for a moment and Yeah, they definitely are weird. I don't even play Dota. I just go out and laugh at their chat.
What is a Dota?
Mishni would know.
Misty is asleep.
I'm thinking that right now. So, did you give it some UV and whatnot?
That's right, we're completely ready to texture now.
I was not paying attention.
Completely ready to texture. Oh, Dota is a bird. That makes total sense, Lintel.
A dodo bird. Yeah, wrong. Yeah, right.
Alright, now to open up a model that I haven't opened up in a really long time and see just what the heck I gotta do to this thing. Oh, I should just open up the blob because that sounds awesome, and I don't remember what it is.
Man, you sculpted a lot of things.
Yes, I have. Oh, I remember this. I was like bored and I was in like one of those art blogs
That's
that
actually
people
pretty
get.
cool.
So I was like, I'll just sculpt something random, and then I did this random little mutant thing.
That is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it was kind of neat. I should go out and update the blob at some point.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't put that on your art station.
It's not good enough. He's neat, but he's not that neat. All it is. Ooh, I realized I had her naked in this one. I thought I had a more complete version of her. Let's see. Let's see, Gundam. Do I have a separate file for her? Let us find out in the backup drive. Dun dun dun. Maybe I do not. Well then. I may have to split this from the main project. This will be fun. Alright, we're gonna try not to crash here now, folks.
Oh, I wish you luck.
It's a big file.
I love how your cursor's on the fucking ass right now.
Yeah, I was like, I'll just rest right here. There sure is a lot of meshes in here. Not the one I'm looking for, though. Alright, next file. I had this all planned out. So maybe I put these in this file. which is only half a gig size in size, so probably has a lot more in it. Problem is, I need the pilot centered, so what I may end up having to do is export her in FBX. Should be alright. I might have a version of her. Oh, there we go. Oh, but this is the version of her I have already posed. This is not a bad character at the time. I should have just went through and you see I made a little pistol for her.
Interesting pistols. Cool, actually.
I even did alright on the hair actually on this. Put a lot of effort into this pilot for something that basically
Wait, that's hair?
Yeah.
Thought that was a hat.
No, you can see I got the hair in there.
As soon as you got a closer view of it, I literally thought that was a hat the entire time. I saw it on the
well, it's the thing.
station.
I never did a good render of her. As you can see, I just kind of left her in this state. This is not bad, actually. I don't think I need to redo this. I think I actually really need to just go in and paint this. That's what I need to do. Maybe I'll just do that. But I would like to find the one before I posed her, so just to see if that exists. Not that the pose is bad, but just from a workflow standpoint, it might be. Oh, that's pose. That's pose. Oh, there we go. There's pre-pose. Pre-pose, pre-painting, which is alright. I was hoping to find one that had paint on it, though. Oh, there's another version.
Now that looks like more like hair.
Well, yeah, this was just sculpted hair I had before I did any fiber mesh, and it's a little few steps back in the design process, so. Oops. It's with the new
The other
model.
hair kind of looked like metal shape. Because of the reflectivity.
Yeah. I think this is the most complete one I'm gonna get, so that's alright. We'll go with it, and then we'll work on doing some updating on her, including the hair, because this fiber mesh. So the fiber mesh will export into Substance Painter. It actually, as long as you change the way that it's UV'd, it will work okay.
Really?
Yeah, what you gotta do to get it to, since I'm just thinking about this now, what you gotta do to get it into there. So first of all, if I just select this mesh, if I can select it, it's one whole mesh. So let's just say this group, because it's separated into a bunch of different groups. That's how you get fiber mesh to cooperate, is you gotta separate it into lots of different groups. Spend some time on it. So this mesh is not bad. It's only got 44,000 points, which is pretty good for hair, right? Because it's a lot of points. So with this volume of hair, it's not bad. There's a couple different ways you've got to UV map this though in order to make it work. So by default, you got to create a UV map, and you can use one of these UV tiling modes. Planar works pretty good. UV tile works all right. I found that the adaptive UV tiles works pretty good for making it. I'll probably end up redoing this here with a lot more broader hair cards.
Okay.
So yeah, you can see it that I got a bunch of different sections of hair split up to create that look. So now that I found one I can use, I'm going to export this. Rather, I'm going to copy the file. You know what? No, I'm going to wait, do I have any subdivisions with this? Nope, I don't. So it doesn't matter what I do then. So I am going to export this.
Why would that matter if you?
Why would it matter if I have subdivisions? Because when you export an XBX file, it doesn't export your subdivisions. So you have to decide at what level you want to export it at. And then, so a lot of times when I'm exporting for baking, I'm exporting a low version and a high version. You also then have to consider what level you want the low version at so that it still retains the shapes and you're going to get a good bake out of it. And I do have the guns on this one. Good. All right. So what I'm going to do with this is I actually want to continue this in the same project file. So what I'll do is I'll go back into here, and I've already got a whole bunch of sub objects, but I'll just click one of these random ones. Spiral. And I'll import. Now I want to split this object up. Obviously it's not helpful for me to have this all as one thing. They're all in nice poly groups, so that's helpful. ZBrush does have a bug when splitting up things with poly groups where it'll crash. I don't know if this is... I do not know if they fixed this in this version. It was prolific in 4R7 and I stopped using it at that point because of that. I'm going to take a chance and just try it. So go up to split here and group split. Okay. And what I'll do is I will now save this. Pilot 1 or 001. And we'll try to select a more appropriate material to work on this model with. You notice I got a little bit of a pitted skin here. Don't really want that. Turn on symmetry. So it's only 57,000 points, which is great. I am going to see if I can reconstruct subdivision level. No. So, oh, and I hid the hands. Why? Because they were a pain in the ass, so I just inserted separate hands when I did this. I have better hands than this now, but anyway. Apparently that was what I did because I was trying to not spend a month on the fucking hands, I guess.
Lintel said something about the buggy thing. aka split models.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I'm worried about, but we'll try this out. She doesn't really have a lot of anatomy, so I'm hoping
I'm
this
just
won't get me
liking
in
that
trouble.
he said was. Hoping it still is in the past tense.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a crash or anything. Oh, this was the model you opened. So different with clothes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the other one's got a lot more detail. It's at a higher resolution. I'm not worried about that as much. But I do want to make a more efficient model because I'm going to resculpt her a little bit. Here. I'll just get rid of some stuff for Twitch purposes. The whole anatomy idea is that I probably could have actually put the shoulders right here as opposed to on the side. Second set of arms. The muscles will travel up under the front here.
Yeah.
And create a second set of arms as opposed to trying to pop them off the shoulder blades, which you can still do, but it's not going to be as functional, right? So that's the idea with this. So this is a second version. I'm going to Z-remesh this. Let's see how low we can go. 13. Alright. We're going to hide everything else. We're going to bring the other one back. We are going to subdivide. And we're going to run a project all. And see what that does. And we get a little bit of our detail back. Awesome. Don't really have much toes on her, so that's okay. Gotta flip her around because I don't really want to show the boobs. So that's at her at 200. That's more than enough for the previous model. So I'm going to rename this Topo. Bring everything else back. Hide that. Hide that. Alright, so I don't need that random skin detail. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just fill the skin with a slight color just so I can differentiate the armor from it. I did this so long ago, there's like quite a bit of like general work. I can't use sculptures as subdivisions. Oh, that's fine. Maybe we'll just go to the bottom and sculpt our way up. Retire.
Color spelled C-O-L-L-E-R.
Seems right to me.
Alright.
Color.
Nope. Damn. Not color, collar.
Collar. Nope.
Yeah. A-R at the end. Oh.
So what I'll do is I'll hide a couple things here so I can get maybe I'll keep the pixie cut. We'll see. I'm rather impressed with myself. This is one of the better hairs I did. I freaking hate doing hair. Actually, I gotta say, I'm impressed with myself on the one way because the hairs was pretty good, but on the other way, I put all this work into this, and then I never bothered to do any like good renders of this. somewhat of a good-looking alien pilot girl. It's going to take a little bit of work because the anatomy on the face is actually pretty bad. Take a moment to look at corners of the mouth. Nasolabial fold. Drop that there.
I lost your Twitch. There we go.
You lost my
Lost it
Twitch.
there for a second.
That's terrible.
I hear, was messaging. Yeah, posted an
Finally, you're
update for
working
me.
with an alien.
Yeah, I'm working with an alien. She's the pilot of that mech.
So she's a Micronian.
A what now?
A Micronian.
A what now?
Have you ever seen Robotech?
What now?
Stop that.
What
What
now?
now? That.
Hmm.
Well, we're getting somewhere. And I saw Robotech a long, long time ago.
Then you should also remember who the Micronians is.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't
Micronians.
Yeah. They were, I guess you could say, a forgettable character.
In a way, not really.
Well, it must be because we both forgot about them.
Micronians is the normal humanoids
Show us a
on Earth.
picture.
Shows you a picture of a Micronian from Robotech.
Yes.
You gotta be kidding me.
So what you working on?
Me?
Or are you not working? Yeah.
Yeah, I was working.
What were you working on?
The game.
Obviously. But what,
Yeah.
what were you working? Which part are you working
I'm
on?
adjusting some things in the attack sections. Just need to. Here's a little way you can compare the size with a Micronian and a Robotech Master. Ooh, nice.
How does that? No mind.
How does what now?
So how does that character look like the creatures you were talking about? Being that that's a robot and looks like a regular human.
So I'm guessing the pilot is smaller version of the huge, mechanoid machine he's running around in, right?
No, they're the same size.
Hmm. But why is he sad?
Doesn't look sad to me. Doesn't look happy, but doesn't look sad.
Okay, fair
He
enough.
more or less looks like this is my life now
Yeah.
type of face. Complete acceptance.
So you're saying the Micronesian is just the smaller version?
Yeah, the Micronians, yeah. Actually, not saying it, I was comparing it, because I thought the Mech Warrior machines were like the same size as a Robotech machine.
I don't know. I don't do that kind of research.
Hmm.
I probably should, to be honest with you. There's a time and a place for it, though.
I don't remember muting my. Be right back.
Now we've kind of got an expression going. Those eyes are a little low, though.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a little better. Been trying to watch myself on that. I've been getting lazy with some of my proportions. This is where I get like a little too involved and I forget to actually have conversations.
So now I'm actually doing the same thing as Quantum is normally doing.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm contacting each and everyone who's online.
Oh yeah, you're spamming everybody?
Not yet, only a couple.
Oh, well, I never unmuted myself. It's not spamming unless you send more than one message.
I only said one.
Then it's not spamming.
Actually, spam would be contacting a massive bunch of users with unsolicited messages.
Yeah, that would just be spam. Spamming. He's constantly doing it.
Why are you such a pervert today?
Why am I such a pervert
What?
today? What?
No, Quantum. He's been, you know, pervert all day. It's
What are you
actually been.
talking about? I haven't said anything perverted.
Actually, you have.
Not recently.
Almost. Yeah, you did.
What did I say? Fucker. What did I say?
I like how you're on the defensive because you know you probably said something, but you don't know which thing he's calling you out on.
Yeah, precisely.
Stay out of
So
this,
just out of
Larvantholos.
curiosity, where did you get the idea with the 4 arms?
With the 4 arms?
Yeah.
I'm guessing Mortal Kombat.
No, I had actually taken a course and we talked about proper placement of arms on a character design. So one of the examples that we used was, well, we looked at different ways they appear in nature. So they will appear sometimes. Basically, any growth plates in your body potentially could sprout an extra limb, or you could be born deformed with an extra limb. So shoulder blades, your rib cage, especially on the front plates, bottom plate, or side plate, could potentially have an extra limb attached to it. Same thing with your shoulder right at the ball joint, your hips on the ball joints, also below the knee could split and have an extra limb appear out of it. In sort of that way. So we talked about examples of how to make multi-limbed creatures believable. So one example we looked at, rather than recreating, rather than trying to throw like an extra limb behind the shoulders like a wing or something like that, which you can do, but like to make it functional, one of the examples we looked at was creating it across the rib cage, so that extra layer of muscle there, and how that would shift the anatomy around. So I thought it would be interesting to look at applying that with, potentially a second sort of shoulder kind of pivot point, almost a little bit backwards, and then pushing that up under her breast so that it would have the breastplate kind of extend over and down. So that's where we get sort of the elongated chest a little bit. And the arms are functional in the same way that the upper arms would be, just with a slightly different range of movement. So they're more functional in the lower limbs. So that's what I did, is I gave her longer forearms than the lower limbs. And I kept the upper arms very short to kind of compensate for that different mobility that she has. So that was the idea behind that. That was ages ago, though.
Oh, hey, Unity, Unreal and Unity is now have Filmic in color space by default.
Everyone has Filmic.
Yeah.
for a long time now.
Actually, yes, they had it, but it wasn't. You had to make it. Like you actually had to flip it on by yourself. By your, yeah, yep.
Yes. Yes.
But now it's becoming more default.
Go through and update all the lines of this armor. This poor armor.
Didn't you just fix that spot?
This spot here, what?
Oh, sorry, a little lag, but you were fixing a part on the legs, and you seemed to fix it twice.
That's because it wasn't done in symmetry. So I turned symmetry on,
Oh.
then I mirrored and welded it, and determined when I did that it was on the correct side, so I didn't have to do it twice, but it looked like it was twice because of the mirror and welding.
Alright.
This was done, though, when I did this originally, very quickly, I think. Like, I like it. I like some of the flexibility thought that I put into this, but some of it I don't, so just want to make it more functional.
So you look. Yeah. That's
Like this piece here, I don't know what the... Oh, I know what happened here. There should be another piece to this, and it probably didn't split correctly. Well, it's gone either way.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, no, there we go. Haha. Part of this.
You found it?
Yeah, it's... Let's try flipping this and seeing if this works if I turn double off. Nope. So, this is a tricky one. Part of my geometry has been flipped. So I'm gonna do a partial fix. Because I gotta fix this, right? Like I need all of this to be facing the same direction, otherwise stuff is broken. So we are gonna go polygroups, group by normals, turn double back on, dynamic off. So we flip in behind. I'm gonna grab.
Looked like my dog needed to go out. Apparently did not. Be right back. I'm gonna get some soda again.
Yeah, going out with a dog.
This is what happens when I do modeling and other programs are bringing in. So that, but not that. And we are going to flip this. Switch this to select rectangle, it'll help me select these edges a little bit better. Maybe.
And I'm back.
Figure out the best way to fix this, which might be just gonna flip this. That did work. Okay. Got my work cut out for me. And those hands, oh my god. I gotta import another hand or fix them. You kind of tell.
Which one?
Well, it's funny. You can kind of tell what I did though is I was like really done with the model, just to do them that way.
The hands look all right.
Yeah, I gotta fix all the surfaces on here. It's just gonna take a little bit, so that's why I'm making them all dynamic so that I know how broken they are. Those guns are funky. It's kind of neat though. Fix that. It's the kind of thing where I spent quite a bit of time doing some of these features, and I never spent time actually rendering her out, making her look good.
It's like, she's not the focal point. Why should I spend?
Well, that's just it. I intended originally to make her a focal point and do separate renders and all that BS. And then I spent 2 weeks rendering the Gundam, doing renders 24 hours a day. I was like, fuck this. Alright, back to this piece here. You can see a lot of my newer stuff that I do, I don't leave things all wobbly like this.
Yeah.
So I put extra edges on the outside, so that's the first thing to address. I'm probably going to spend a fair bit of time resculpting her face too again. But let's fix some of this stuff while I'm thinking about exactly how I want her to look.
Sounds like Mishni is getting tired.
Me getting tired? Of what? I'm sitting and working.
Sounds like you're a bit bored.
I'm not bored, not at all. But I'm like, I'm at that phase right now. I almost can't do any, much more. I'm like, and it's quite annoying actually.
Have you tried to invite Kobe back?
Yeah, I did write to him and ask him, hey, and also Krell and all that, but none of them has been answering.
Well, to be fair, Kobe is away right now. He might come back.
Yeah, but he was online when I wrote to him, but it doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world, It's just the end of the song.
Or is it?
Ba, ba, ba. Why did you make that 2 separate groups? One green and one yellow.
Easier to manage.
And no red.
Easier to manage. I'm also going to be running polish by groups because I want to smooth out what I've got going on. In order to keep the shapes the way that I want, I have to have groups separated. So I'll give you an example. This is a good example here. Just watch what I'm doing with these loops. And watch what happens to the other loops when I smooth this out. So I'll retain the one loop around the neck, and I didn't retain the others. That's what the groups does. So I can polish by group, and it allows me to make things, allows me to do edits, allows me to do the edits and then still smooth out the end result and keep it looking really clean.
Alright. to maintain the detail.
Yeah.
All right.
Hmm.
Cool.
Because it was left on here really wobbly before, so I'm trying to make it look really sharp again. Honestly, some of this should have been double-sided too, so I'll probably end up doing that. Making it actually look
Double-sided?
like
What do you
it.
mean?
Double-sided and some straps to hold this together. Well, you see how this piece looks like it's just floating on here?
Yeah, seems a bit weird. Yeah.
So that's what I don't want. I don't want it to look like it's just floating on there.
Would you be interested in teaching me a ZBrush?
Well, first of all, I don't know what you said because you cut out in the middle of that.
Ah, fuck. Okay. Would you be interested in teaching me anatomy and ZBrush?
I would be happy to do that. How much are you offering up for this teaching?
Ah, while you're streaming.
Why not start with $5 and see what you get? You know, start from the low end and he goes to high end and then you meet on the middle. That smile, I could see that smile on the cam, so you're busted, Lava.
$5 foot long.
Hmm.
Slide.
But no, I have to say, Lava, after I've been sitting here listening to the suggestions you have been coming up with and all that, and the people I've been trying to look for here actually to help out with the game, or maybe were interested in, earning a little bit. It's actually helped me. I wouldn't say a lot, but it's helping me to figure out, certain things that I wasn't aware of before.
Well,
Just a sec.
that is good.
But that is also the whole idea with this Discord, and all those things, that we learn something new each day and try to help out the best we can to each other, supportively.
No, I agree there. It's you notice I'm taking a lot of detail away as I go because I'm going to add the thickness back in. On these models, I'm going to add thickness back in. And, ooh, I did something awful there though. Fix that. I'm going to probably think a little bit more about straps and things too as I go.
And I'm back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back
to the Dungeon of Trash. Choose your warrior.
God.
No.
Snap my fingers. Done.
God is not available at this time.
I want my money back.
Your money back is not available this time.
Yeah, I think I'm done actually with the knife, though.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
Does that mean that the
Not
knife
really
is...
much detail after the whole bump map, unless you think there's more to it.
Well, why don't you
There should be more
post
to
said
it.
knife and we can look at where it's at.
I didn't change anything from the last image I sent you.
I'll be the judge of that. So you're done with it. I'll tell you what. Now that we know what you can do, sir, maybe I should take a moment and one up knife you.
Alright.
Or, you know, at least pretend like I can one up knife you. I may ask you where you got the knurling texture.
You showed it to me.
Yeah, but I never kept that link.
Oh, okay. Just a second.
Alright, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'll save where I'm at here with the pilot.
I was going to send it to you, but apparently I never downloaded the image. I just dragged and dropped it into Substance
Shame.
from the internet.
Shame.
Well then. Well, it's a good thing it's an easy thing to find.
I'll tell you
So,
what.
you guys here?
No, we're not here.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up the knife file, and since you pointed out there were some UV issues in the handle, I'm going to take a moment to address those. So what I'm going to do is...
It only showed up when I re-exported, and I swear I didn't click on any to click on.
I'm just going to
As I
check and
know.
see what UV Master did here. It won't let me flatten. It wants me to work on...
Oh, you said it in text chat. Oh, that's going to be hard to find.
Is that because we have... Oh, that's weird. Well, anyway, I'll work on clone and see where it goes.
Yeah, it's past that.
UV should be fine.
Oh, we
but
lost Mishni.
tell you what, I'm gonna just do a slight fix of these UVs.
Okay, there's that. Place that. Place the N with an L.
Now I can hear you.
Oh, you didn't hear this before?
No, because I was outside and suddenly the connection went out.
Well, if you click on the art station and just go all the way to the bottom, you should find it.
The what station?
The art station post I posted in chat.
The what station?
Art station.
What station? Alright, so those UVs were actually alright. So all I did was straighten them out in ZBrush here. So now what I'll do is I'll copy UVs.
Actually, I think there was actually a painter. It was with the blade.
Was it just me or did the connection
I
just
didn't
crack for a
notice it
second?
until the end, though.
Yeah.
It was probably not just you. There was a little bit of a problem with the blade. I think it was the UVs where it was cut, the seam.
Well, there's a seam right down the middle, so that has some potential.
Except it's not directly in the middle.
It is actually. You can see it on my screen right
Yeah.
now.
Hmm.
The dating games. No, that was fun.
Actually, I was singing the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, UVs seem alright. Alright, so we're going to take this from here and export it since I've made slight changes. I'm just going to save it.
Okay, if you zoom in on the image of the knife, you can see the problem.
I don't see the problem. Looks perfect to me.
Did you zoom in on it?
Yeah, I see what you're talking about right on the edge there. I'll see what I can do. I've changed the position of the UVs, might improve that, it might not. We'll find out.
Alright.
New stuff. Knife 3. And now we will open Substance Painter, which I have not used in a while. And there's actually an update. Should I run the update? Do you think I should update it?
I believe so.
Let's see.
Substance Painter update.
What's new in issue and tablet thing? Crash, regression performance with AO map, iRay lens distortion if not applied, alpha channel, blah 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 blah. No, because I did download an updated version already. I haven't installed it. So I'm going to start a new file. I'm going to select my Kniffy, which by the way is what I'm calling it now, Kniffy.
I remember you said that last night.
We're going to use a
Was it last night?
4K map for this. So that'll help.
Oh, 4K. I went to only 2.
Yeah, we're going to go all 4K on this. And this new interface is confusing to me.
Did you repack the UVs?
I did repack the UVs, yeah.
Alright.
So, just take me a moment to remember how to do things in Substance Painter. Texture settings. We want to bake mesh maps. We're going to use high poly as low poly. And we are going to output to 4K. And we are going to bake all texture sets. It'll just take a moment to do this. And this will help us to apply different settings to the knife.
Alright then. Well,
Baking the Kniffy. Baking the Kniffy. Baking the Kniffy. If I wasn't streaming, this would be done already by now. So what this does is Substance uses... You didn't do this, did you?
No.
So Substance uses these maps with its procedural texturing to help control where details get applied, to help you put more realistic, to basically give you more realistic results. So like it tells it like where the ambient occlusion should fall, for example, and then that tells it where dust is going to gather and where scratches are going to end up, and it has a depth map so it knows how deep the knife is and other things like that. So that all helps you to get
don't
a better
mind me,
end
I'm
result.
just gonna jump on Painter.
You're like, she's like, fuck, I gotta go bake it, and then my knife will be amazing, just like that. And
I wouldn't say that, but it would add more detail.
It will if you do bake it. It will. The other thing it does. So I've told it to use the high poly, or the low poly is the high poly. So it'll just internally subdivide it a little bit or whatever. But the main point of that is you provide you with a normal map and a bump map so that it makes it smoother texturally. I could actually take this in ZBrush right now and subdivide it, and then export that and use that to bake this knife if I really wanted to. But I think this will be okay because it's a bit high poly for a knife. I mean, if this was a game asset, I'd have to reduce this to like 100 polygons or some shit like that. I don't know. Maybe 100, maybe 150. Instead of having these like nice geometry little edges that we got in here, we just do that as a texture with an alpha. what you do is you'd bake your high. So your low poly knife, you just would follow the shape of the knife, and you just take out some of these extra details, and then you just bake it. You'd bake it over top of it or whatever.
No, I wasn't really paying attention. How did I get to the bake thing?
So on texture settings here, scroll it down, and you're gonna find mesh maps. Click on the bake mesh maps, and then make sure you select low poly is high poly, and then go ahead and bake that. Oh, and select your texture size too, because it defaults to 1K texture, which you're not gonna get much love
Yeah,
out
I
of.
chose the 2K
Yeah.
immediately.
Well, the thing is, that's a preview size. You got to make sure that when you select it in the bake mesh, and then in the shader settings, there's a preview size what it uses in the viewport.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for the heads up.
You're welcome.
Do I change any like focal distance, rear distance, or anything like that?
No, keep it at default. If you get a bad result, that's when you start playing with that stuff. Keep it at default for now.
Bake all texture sets.
Just bake all once you,
right.
but make sure you click the high poly, low poly little thing.
I did.
All right, yeah, just bake all then. This will not override any of the stuff that you've already done. It will just update it based on these core texture sets that it uses. It's basically what it's doing is it creates these texture sets and then builds your shader so that it can provide specific results for painting.
Oh, I do intend on redoing instead.
Oh well, I'll be going to bed, guys. You sleep, guys. You sleep tight, right? Take care.
Good night, Vicini.
Night, night. See ya.
All I did, Miss Sneedy. All I did was like 4 clicks, really.
I know that.
No, 6 clicks.
I know that.
Yeah.
I am aware.
So redoing everything isn't that difficult.
Exactly. That's why I thought I'd open up Substance Painter and just show you how I would approach the knife, just to give you some pointers. It takes a while to get amazing, and I'm definitely not amazing. I just know a little more tricks than you. That's all. That's it.
Oh,
So now we're baked, and
Yep. I got done before you did, actually.
that's because I'm streaming in it.
I baked
and
at 2K though.
yeah, that's also because I'm streaming it. If I hadn't been streaming, I would have been done in probably a tenth of the time. I use one of my graphic cards to do all of the heavy lifting in the stream aspect. So now we're gonna pick our materials. So I like to use shiny materials. Let's see. Should I use aluminum? Or should I use a more...
I had a pretty good reference of the iron raw.
You know what, we're gonna use silver.
Gave it that dirt look.
We're gonna use silver. And then, oops, accidentally dragged that over the other one. Oh, she's cobalt pure. Oh, it did do that, didn't it? Carbon fiber. Now we'll use the damn you. That's really annoying. Alright, artificial leather. Done. Done. Look at my amazing job. I kid. So, we're gonna weather this
Do you
blade up
need
a
me
little
to
bit.
resend you the reference?
Nope, we're gonna weather this blade up a little bit.
Okay.
And there's a couple easy ways to do this. I like to put a fill layer on.
Smart mask.
I do like to use the smart mask, but we'll start with the fill layer. And we're just going to start with just applying color information. So in this case, I'm going to use red. I just use it to contrast what's going on. I can alter all of that later. Now I'll use the smart masks, or I could generate a smart mask. But I usually like to start with a smart mask and see what kind of results I can get. So I'm actually going to start with a cavity rust in this case and see what that does for me on this. That only gives me a little bit of rusting at the base, so I don't like that. So I'm just going to delete that. Try a little bit of ground dirt. Gives me a little bit across the blade, so maybe I might use that. One that I really like is the moss from the top. I find it does some fun things to objects. So like this. So that's kind of a good spread. It looks a little too uniform, so I would probably break that up with something else. We'll try a couple things. And this probably one of the things you probably didn't know is you could invert stuff. So inverting sometimes gives you the result that you want. We'll try this oxidization mask. And it's pretty good. I like that. We're gonna invert this and see. So that's a little bit better. So say I'm happy with that, and I know that I want this to affect the roughness, and I want to make it more like a rust color. So rust is a little more orangey. And I really want to change the rough color. I want it to be the roughness to be fairly high because it doesn't have any specularity at all. And I'm going to just change the level of the fill and bring this down a fair bit. So you can see I'm getting adjust the mask, or do I want to adjust? I almost think I want to invert that. There we go. Now if I bring that, multiply it. Pardon me.
Bless you.
So the main parts of this are kind of what I want. I don't know if that color is quite hitting the saturation level that I need.
Ain't rust a little reddish orange?
Yeah.
Yet you have like a greenish color.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I see you're changing it now.
It's a little bit goldy, and I don't like it, so I'm just trying to get it. I'm trying to get it a little bit closer to what I want. But that also changes, like, it's going to change as I reduce the fill, so I have to figure out. So what's happening is, even though I dropped it down to 0 and I just got that mask changing the roughness, which I actually like. So I'm actually going to take off the
Suppose you just don't combine that layer with the rust that's pre-made in the materials.
I like to play with things. I don't like to just use the default. It looks a little too uniform when you do that. Like I'm gonna adjust the balance of these materials a fair bit. I don't want to blur that. That's important. Texture 2 though. Curvature. There we go. Reduce the curvature. Now bring the height up just a little bit. Or down. Yeah, down just a little bit. Color's kind of hitting the wrong. Oh, it's because I changed the way that the fill is. Overlay. I think I want to darken that. Just don't want it. So that's about as far as I'll take that with just that procedurally. It's not quite laying on there the way I like, so maybe I'll try another mask. I use that edge rest mask, which is way too uniform. I use edge damage mask with that.
Now I could see that previous mask you were using corridors, like metal corridors.
Yeah.
Oh, you swapped multiple times.
Oh, I'm actually adding.
Oh, adding. All right.
So when you drag that second, so you get, this is the edge rust, right? If I add the rust on top of that.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
Yeah. Some of them will combine quite nicely. Some of them will just overlay. So you have to figure that out. And see, rust dripping doesn't make sense on this, so I'll take that off. Ground rush might make sense on this for if it was laying on the ground for a while. But it also depends how it was laying, so there's that. Yeah. That's for secondary layer. Let's just go with the rest then. It's subtle enough. So I'll add another fill there. And I'll mask it again. On the fill there, I do the same thing with the dramatic color. Just so I can figure out what I'm applying. There was a subtle dust that I liked here. Dust subtle. It's pretty subtle though. I may have to.
Now, is there a quick way to invert?
Yeah, global
These
invert.
textures?
Global invert.
Oh, all right.
So I use. A dusty color. It's not much, but it's there. And I'll use another fill there. Yeah, use bright green in this case. Black mask. And we're going to use this for scratches. Subtle scratches. And I should probably change the height for doing scratches. gets to be too much way too fast. So one of the way to change how that works sometimes is use the triplanar instead of the. I don't like how this is grabbing the edges so hard though.
It's quite green, the edges.
Well, it's because I'm using green as my test color.
Ah.
Because I want to see where it's showing up, right? Like this tells me exactly where that is, and then I can decide. Because I've got like height on, for example. And I like that.
You just stabbed an alien and
Just want that to be very subtle. And might give that just a tad bit of. Just a little bit of story. One of the things that makes this, yeah, the rust doesn't feel as authentic because the blade edge looks so clean, so it makes it hard to just say that's there. Scale that back. I'm renaming these as I go, just to try to get things consistent enough. So if I need to go back and edit it, I kind of know what I'm editing. Yeah, bring that down. Overpower what I'm doing just to tell a story. That should be enough on the blade. Actually, I'll do one other thing on the blade part. I'll add a paint layer. Oops. I meant to just add it as a layer. And what's fun to use is the particle brushes.
yeah, I did get a couple minutes fucking around with the particle shit.
Yeah. Stabbed. Multiply that. Yeah, because I didn't have any height when I did it. I have to add it now.
Now, if you could get it to interact with the bumps more, it would be cool.
Oh, you can, but it's a different operation. Yeah, I have to figure out if there's more of a story out there later and come back to it. Particles are fun, but you have to also know, like, am I aging it? Am I adding a story and what I'm doing, and then try to apply the right particle to do that. So let's see, we're on the guard. I don't need to do anything with the guard right now.
Nope.
I'll rename the handle to handle.
Not on the image, at least not on the reference image, but I see that you're no longer going for the reference.
The what now?
You're adding to it.
I gotta add my
knurling.
knurling.
You're adding to the reference.
So I'm gonna add a fill there. What are you talking about? I'm adhering precisely to the reference image. I finished doing the reference image in the first 30 seconds, so now I gotta do other stuff. Because if I wanted to do just a reference image, I would just do a nice shiny knife.
Are you looking for the curling?
I've probably got something in here by default that I could use for that. Maybe. I should really have a section for just patterns in here. So inside this alpha thing, there's some patterns that are procedural, which don't see. Oh, maybe I need to be under procedural. There we go. So under these procedural stuff here,
Wow, they have a lot of patterns there.
yeah. Like this guy here, for example.
Huh.
So that's all right. I suppose I should actually bring up that knife link for a reference for the kerning. I don't remember what the specific angle was anymore.
Oh wow, you're going right into the scientific way of doing it.
Add a black mask. And which brush am I looking for? Polygon fill. And I want to use UV chunk fill. Oh, that's right. I didn't leave specific sections.
Oops.
Do something like this then.
Yeah, I went in there and hang in.
The problem is I'm getting that white background on that pattern, so I have to see if I can fix that. Otherwise, this is kind of pointless.
Yeah. I already forgot how I got rid of it.
Multiply or overlay.
Oh yeah, I somehow turned it off, and all I got was the height information.
So something
Oh,
like
what was
that. And so what I need to do is get rid of the artificial
Except no,
leather.
you need to invert it.
Shh. Get there.
Oh, you don't like the artificial leather?
No, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna show you a trick. Save this.
So how often does a Substance Painter crash on you?
Fairly often actually, because I'm usually throwing in. The thing is, I'm running out of memory when it crashes. I usually get to that point, so I'm just gonna make it easier for me to fill in the knife here. It's a matter of life or death. Alright, I'm going to take our happy knife here. You notice I got a polygroup, or had a polygroup here. Figure out where the specific edge of this is going to be.
Damn bugs. Yeah, you're going a whole painted the damn thing in.
Yep.
We were doing the way I wanted to do it in the first place, and I'm sort of glad I didn't.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to polygroup these two sections. Ta-da!
Yeah.
Now, you're thinking, where does the magic happen? How does that help me? Well, I'm going to cheat a little bit more. Not really cheating, I'm just going to use the pipeline a little bit more. And I'm going to divide these.
What?
Yeah, I'm going to divide these. Except it's not letting me divide them. Why are you not letting me? There's no hidden geometry. That was weird. Alright, so we divided this. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use polypaint.
You're actually... And now those areas are maxed out. You can paint without worrying about going over the edge. Man, you really like your colors when it comes to this.
It's important because those contrasting colors are just helpful,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I will save this just in case something happens with the Z brush. I could have used that new polygrouper plugin, but that thing.
Wait a second, you're back in ZBrush? I thought you were. Fuck.
All right, I'm gonna export this Kniffy now out of here as an FBX. Now, one thing I usually do. Let's add a floor here. So when I export this out into here, it doesn't always. Sometimes it flips it in weird angles. I guess it doesn't matter because it's a knife. So it should just be okay, but with the characters, I usually end up having to rotate them. Alright, we're going to call this one... Oh, and that's the other thing I need to do. To rename this. Knife, blade, high.
For high poly?
Yep. Oh no, I remember now. It has to be small h.
Yeah, I thought you were doing this all in. Alright.
I told you it's a pipeline. I was gonna show you. I mean, if I wanted to go all out, I could do the knurling in here for baking too, but I'll grab a texture and do it anyway. So we're gonna export this at this level. So export. We'll just do knife for high. And then we're going to do all low and rename it and export it as low. And then I will show you how Substance will actually update. It'll actually update the model inside of Substance Painter. So we'll go all low. Rename. This is the better way to bake your knife, by the way, to get those textures made. So we will now export this again. Wait till this exports. Now if I flip over to Substance Painter and I go into my file here and I go Project Configuration, and if I select the low knife and hit OK, it's going to update it and it'll look like nothing happened, except you notice it lost my little bit of texturing I did. It's because I renamed it. So I'll show you how to get that back. Used to not be able to. You used to be just screwed, but now you can get that back. So if you go onto Settings, reassign texture sets, you can select where you want stuff to go. Apply, and ideally, after recalculates everything, things should be fine, except I apparently put the blade one on the wrong on the wrong thing.
Oopsies.
Oh, that's interesting. I must have renamed the wrong thing to the wrong thing.
Yeah, you did. I had that problem in Blender earlier. It's like, wait a second, this doesn't make sense.
There we go. So that makes sense now. And I got another really interesting issue. So let's see how we created that. I turned double off. Let's see how we created that. That also can, you know that texture issue you were having? That can also cause that can also be caused by that. So let's flip this. Oh, it'll only let me fix it at the highest subdivision level. So that's a problem. But because of how we did this, I'm just gonna. I know it's at 3 subdivision levels.
What the?
Left brain. Delete higher. I'm gonna isolate this. Flip it. Oh. Interesting.
What?
This was not an issue till I subdivided it, apparently.
Oh, you mean the outline?
No. Now I'm going crazy. Where did my shortcut to flip on here go? Right there. Let's make sure nothing else got screwed via double. Alright, Shift-D, Control-V, I can't remember now. Alright, I'm going to do this again. Make sure this is at low. C plugin, FBX master.
I
Export.
really hope the extra detail you put it on this eventually pays off.
Well, it either will pay off or I'll have just wasted a lot of time just to get that red box on there. It usually pays off like a little bit in the long term, but I mean, you know.
I really hope so, because you spent a lot of time on.
Well, the dumb thing is, alright, that's the blade. The dumb thing is I gotta rename all these and export them all high now. Because if I fix the blade on one, I gotta fix it on the other. So that's all high, and then
Suppose you just don't copy paste. I mean, copy the paste and then paste.
if there's a whole bunch of them, I will. But if it's not, it literally really is just as fast for me to type it. I type very fast, so
I
yeah.
type slowly. Yeah.
So I'm gonna overwrite this file. Whoops! Oh, son of a bitch!
What happened?
I just overwrote the. It's okay. I can. This is an easy fix because I'll just rename the file. But I overwrote the. No, I gotta export it again. I overwrote the low file that I just exported. like a genius.
Oh, dude, that sucked. Unfortunately, I also did that earlier.
Yeah.
I had to re-download the knife thing because I fucked up on it earlier. I re-exported my fucked up version of the knife onto the knife. Like, oh fuck! And I couldn't undo it. Like, no.
Alright, so that's the high one re-exported. Now we'll rename them all to low. And export a low version. And we're going to make sure that we go all low, export, knife for low. at least the low version exports very fast. Alright,
Yeah,
so
there's that.
we're going to try this again. Edit, project configuration, select. Knife for low. Yes. Because everything has the same naming convention, it should update the textures automatically, and it did. And we don't have the other problems. Fantastic. So now I'm going to rebake everything. And there's a reason for that. So, texture settings, bake mesh. Let's see. Instead of using high poly as low poly, we're going to grab knife 4 underscore high underscore low and bake all textures. Oh. We'll see how this goes. Waiting. It's funny, if I disconnect my stream, this would probably take, I don't know, 10 to 20 seconds, maybe 30, maybe like a minute or something like that. Because I have my dual video cards in here. It just makes it so freaking fast. But when I've tied up my CPU a bit and my GPU a bit, then it's a little bit slower. But because I have the second GPU in, and the way I've got it set up with my stream, I can stream and it won't disconnect me and still bake something live, so that's helpful. Because I've definitely been the streamer and been in streams where that has been the case. Pardon me. We just bought this home last year and I'm starting to get a taste of how energy efficient it is. It's really heating up in here and it's actually kind of cold outside. I think my neighbors still have their heat on because we're in like condos. And so we've got the heat off completely and it's actually pretty cool outside and the house is very, very warm right now. I've got a window open and I'm probably going to end up getting a fan going just to cool myself off. It's great though. It's like our cost of living went down quite a bit, but almost there. Baking guard knife curvature. Baking guard knife position. Baking guard knife thickness. It's having trouble with the thickness. I said it. Are you down with the thickness?
Trying to remember that song now. Get down with this. Wow, that really. Wait, what? Oh, good, no.
It's just so thick.
It's still loading the thickness.
No, now it's on the normals. Baking handle normal.
Alright. Yeah, while you were doing that, I was started smart mask to this.
Oh yeah.
My end of the knife. Alright. Now you said I could combine masks?
You can. Some of them will overwrite, so just be careful with that. Just pay attention. But some of them you can just drop and it'll add the extra masking features on top. If you're finding that they're just overwriting but you will like both effects, add another layer and then you can use the I think it's the pass-through drop-down, which I think might be the default, or multiply it to add the details together from one layer to another.
All right. Okay. Command D is still a duplication thing.
Control D.
Yep. Duplicate the layer.
Destruction. Control D. Substance Painter will now self-destruct.
What? Man, you would have been pissed if that would happen to your computer. Substance Painter will now self-destruct your computer in 3, 2, 1.
I'm free. I'm finally free. After all these years. Why?
Okay, that is not whatever. And I accidentally deleted that layer instead of the mask. Whoopsie.
Tra la 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 la. Oh, there we go.
Oh, you're done?
Yeah.
This is done? Oh, okay.
Yes, now I can get back to doing stuff. Alright. First things first. First things first is we're going to grab or find my stylus, which I put down somewhere in the process of that. Oh, there we go. That's right, I added a shortcut for... How did I select? It was Control Shift right click to get to Control Shift right click, Control right click. That was it. Control Alt right click to select another mesh inside of Substance Painter.
Alright.
Alright, I'm gonna delete the mask that's on there. Undo. Wanted to just delete the mask. Alright, I'm going to add mask with color selection instead. And why is that great? Well, pick a color. Look at that. You see that? That was why I did that.
I did not see anything yet.
You will in a minute. Oh, wife's calling.
There you go. Alright.
One moment.
Mm-hmm. Looks like it actually damaged the label. In reality, it did not. Didn't help. I'm not seeing anything different. Alright.
Alright, I'm back on the voice. I was trying to keep the stream alive while I was doing that.
Alright. Well, I figured something out using your idea. Let's see if you'll find out too.
Well, if you show me, I'll find out.
Okay.
6, 7, 8, so I got twice as many as I'm there.
Adding upon the whole rest, I thought, you know, that looks really good on the knife, but on the handle, it doesn't seem to show up like any damage or anything. So what I did, I added a fine leather on there, and then put, I think, a dust mask on it to give it a good rust. I also picked out a color for it too. Probably best if I just show you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not really good at explaining. Okay, render.
Alright, 4 is as close as I can get to have a knife there. And how many down?
Alright, now where is okay, there it is.
6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Let's see if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it.
Just a sec, I gotta pop back into the channel. Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
I was just
Mhm.
counting the details so that I could apply the right number of kerning pieces into the handle. Because you notice that. So now I gotta
Yeah,
figure
it
out
was
how to get the
inverted.
now see if I can get the proper offset on these, or if I have to actually grab a texture. I might have to actually grab a texture to do it. I'm trying to do
Alright.
this with,
What you got?
yeah.
Completely understandable. If you figure it out, I'll have to redo mine. That way I don't have to share the credit.
Lol.
Yeah, it should be an offset on there. Should be perfect. Ooh. Maybe offset the Y and Z. I mean Y and X.
Yeah, I just tried that.
Oh, my bad.
It's more because this is a uniform tile, so uniform. Dang. Oh, there's a whole offset section I missed. Nice.
Oh, there's the offset.
That's not doing what I need for the offset, though.
Looks like you. It's going up and down. But
Yeah.
I could have sworn you passed 2 offsets.
Yeah, but it's offset.
While
So
you're
what
going down.
it's doing is, if I want to try to do this, it's doing it as like chunks of like 4s, which is not
Mhm.
what I need.
Nor want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. If you would, I can make it.
Well, I was hoping to do it with that tile generator. I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
Wondering if there's another one. I could
Make a
use.
substance all about a tile generator and expose everything.
Well, there are ones out there like that. I could probably do that.
Yeah.
This is a hexagon one, which looks a lot more like the kerning you'd expect.
No, kind of looks like curly. Yeah, curly. No, it's just circles. Hexagon, circle.
Yeah.
Like put it out there with circles and like 1 year later, wait a second, is this supposed to be go?
All right. I guess I'll just grab the kerning.
All right. I've already saved it for you. Here, I'll just put in the Discord.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Open original. I'll just drag this right into here, I guess. If it'll let me.
You let me.
It not letting me.
But I dragged it right into the texture folder.
Into textures. I could do that.
Yeah.
Let's
Where
try
all
it.
the other normals were.
Yeah, well, I'm dragging it out of Chrome and Chrome won't let me, so save image as
Huh.
art.
Maybe I did actually save it. No, I'm too lazy to do that. Because I have Chrome and it allowed me to do it.
Let's throw that right into here, I guess. Undefined.
I did save it. I saved it to my desktop like a dumbass. Instead of my downloads. My bad. I have a message? Oh, I leveled up. That's right.
Oh, automatically determined it was a normal map. That's way better than it used to be.
I know.
It used to not
That's
do
cool.
that, so that's awesome. So what?
I was like, oh god, do I actually normal? Yes.
I'll just change the UV scale. Bring the height. Leave the roughness middle to normal. And then I just need to change normal. Normal intensity is too high on this.
Yeah, same thought. I don't know if I fucked with.
6, 7, 8.
I think I just attached it and failed it.
Yeah, this is
Probably
actually
shouldn't
not.
have did that.
It's actually not that great of. I will change the color. It's actually not that great of a curling texture.
Yeah, but from a distance you can't really tell.
I used to have a whole bunch of these that I made that were really good. I wonder if I could find one now. Going on an adventure. Assets.
was saving.
Surface 2.
Alright. Materials. Fine.
I found some of my square kerning. This is probably not what I'm looking for. That is and it isn't. It's not quite the right thing. These are downloaded ones.
Oh yeah, that looks really good. I just did exactly what I did.
You did exactly what you did.
Yeah, I did exactly what I did to the guard and put it on the handle.
Oh.
I'm still using your old naming system.
I should just install.
Okay, that's way too much. Where is it?
See, now I'm tempted to pull out my license for a program that I used to generate a lot of like procedural, because this is a very procedural texture.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I'll just accept that it is
I mean,
what it
it's
is.
not that hard to make. It's in Substance Designer. It's literally the tile generator. You offset it just a smidge.
Yeah, I might have to do that.
Out of all the textures in the world that you could do, that was easy. You could probably get it done faster than.
No, I had to refamiliarize myself with Designer, and I'm not as comfortable with that program as I am with this program. That's kind of it, eh?
I could think of it right now. You just add the tile generator like you did in Painter, and then you connected the normal, to a normal map, and then to a normal output. And that's basically it, besides the messing around in the tile generator.
Yeah. I may have to do that. I don't know. I'll accept this the way it is now. Alright.
Alright.
Now we are going to use...
No, there. Finally one. He keeps going to the door, but decides, he doesn't want. Hello.
Hello. What's up?
Oh, Rishni back. Okay.
Yeah, actually.
We're on the texturing stage of the night.
So who's winning?
Ideas, he's coming up
Who's
with
winning?
ideas.
I'm
Yeah,
winning.
who's winning?
I'm winning.
No, you're not winning. You can't win all the time. You have to lose sometimes.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No.
Hey, if
I
you
think
and I
I'm
gonna
winning
play,
also
if you and I
slightly on
gonna
that.
play, if you and I gonna play tic tac toe, I'm always gonna win because I'm toe and you're tick.
I give you Lyme disease. Don't worry, I win.
So.
I think I'm winning so slightly, but that's just because I didn't have to for it again.
Mm.
But then again, in the end game, he'll find details than I would.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'll repost the update so you can.
So
see
anybody
what I'm
joined the channel?
Nope.
Not
Besides
nobody
you.
at all. That's sad. Almost make me cry.
Almost.
Okay, Mishni, I just
Mhm.
posted another update. I should have probably zoomed in a little bit.
Yeah, I
more
see
on
it
the
now
handle.
with all the blood textures in it and all that.
Rust, but yeah.
Hey.
And since technically leather doesn't have rust, I just used a fine leather
Mhm.
to mimic the rust on this leather.
Ugh.
But he has a more unique blade than I do
Mm.
when it comes to the textures.
Oh, my wife's home and she has French fries for me.
Ah,
French
It's gonna
fries?
totally
You
derail
should
this
get
contest.
what you should get vegetables. It's much more healthy for you, you know?
fuck vegetables.
Oh yeah. It's only for rabbits. Unless you want to fuck like a rabbit.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
What's up?
Can you not hear us anymore?
No, he can't. He can't hear us. He's on the loop boogie.
Or are you talking to your girl? Your wife?
She brought French
girlfriend?
fries, so I'm gonna go eat more food.
Mhm.
Let's see. I've been on for 3 hours again. It's
That's not enough.
9
You
o'clock.
need at least 10.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna take another break, and
Alright.
I will be back again tonight. Cause why not? After I eat fries, and my wife is probably gonna go to bed shortly because she's not a late.
And you
person.
should join her.
No,
Shut up!
no. I'll tuck her into bed. I'll come back and stream. I will finish this night.
You said you did said tuck her to bed, right?
That's exactly what I
Talk
said.
to her.
Okay.
Good night. I'll be
Bye.
back, guys.